It's Friday, December 29th, 2023. Please make sure to like this video, share all my videos, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Let's continue to get the word out and wake people up to what is coming. Also, before we start today, I want to thank everybody for the beautiful Christmas cards, all the prayers, all the support. I really, really appreciate it. None of this is possible without you, so I really do appreciate it. Tim Cal of Cal Knives just got back from Big Bear, and I had this beautiful Christmas present waiting for me, and I want to thank Tim for sending this out to me. Now, we're going to talk more about this next week and why you should have something like this added to your EDC. I carry a Pew Pew pretty much every day, and I've been carrying a blade as a secondary, as a backup to my Pew Pew. And so I think it's really, really important to be discussing everyday carry options and adding backup. So if you carry a Pew Pew every day like I do, maybe adding something like this as a backup is, in my opinion, very, very important. You ever get into a situation where you are now wrestling over that weapon, this could really save your life. And in some areas where people cannot carry, or maybe some people have a past and they cannot carry, whatever the situation might be, this might be a great option to have something like this. Again, this is from Tim Cal of Cal Knives. He's not paying me a dime. I want to thank Tim for sending this to me. A beautiful, beautiful work of art, really a beautiful tool here. This is all made in America, and if you have seen Cal Knives, you know they make some of the nicest knives and blades in the country, if not the world. This is actually a piece of art. OD green and black. And so, you know, I know that we talk financial a lot on this channel, and I've said time and time again, this is not going to just be a financial crisis or a financial collapse. It's going to be a social collapse. Too many people out there just think that this is going to be nothing but a big sale, that it's just going to be financial. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you daily, get in the best physical shape of your lives. Work on security. This is a tool that I think that, especially if you're a woman and you're walking alone at night, if somebody gets you in a car, it's over. Statistically, if you look at the FBI statistics, once somebody gets you in a car, your chances of dying are very, very elevated. And I think that this at least gives you a chance, right? This gives you a chance. If you're not carrying a Pew Pew, something like this at least gives you a fighting chance. And so adding this to a Pew Pew, you're probably gonna be the hardest person in the room to kill. So that's why, you know, to me, carrying a Pew Pew, training in jiu-jitsu, having wrestling skills, and having you know, a backup like this to my firearm makes a lot of sense. But Tim Cal of Cal Knives in Georgia builds some of the most beautiful knives, and they're not just beautiful, they are combative knives. And if you're ever in a situation where things get physical and your life is on the line, you're going to pray to God you have something like this. So we're going to talk more about that next week, and I'll talk more about the knife in general, as I just got it and feels great. Looks great. Nickel boron coated blade also. I mean, just the sheath, just that retention, beautiful. So we'll talk more about that next week. I've been carrying a blade as a backup for a while this year, not very, very long, but Tim sent me this one. It's beautiful, feels great. It's high performance. This is the blade I'm going to be carrying every day. Again, Tim has not paying me a dime. I'm sharing with you, good people. Tim is a veteran. Everything is made in America. He literally sells everything out. Family, you know, he's the owner. He's right there, hands-on, making all this stuff. So I got to give a shout out to people that I believe in. Just, you know, when people here in America have a good product and I think that it will benefit you, I'm going to support it, period. I'm carrying this thing every day now next to my firearm, period. So we'll talk more about that next week, and we're going to talk about EDC because it's not what is happening right now, ladies and gentlemen, is just not financial. It is social. Take a look at what is happening in your neighborhoods, in your cities. Take a look at what just happened over the holidays in Oakland. The crime wave is unbelievable. It's nothing we've ever seen in the history of this country, and you cannot allow yourself to be a victim. You have got to put the odds in your favor that you will survive an assault or an attack. You're not going to allow somebody to just come into your house and hurt your wife and kids and pets. You're not going to allow somebody to just take your assets that you work so hard for. So I'm not going to talk anymore about that. We're going to continue to talk about EDC, everyday carry, next week. Some of the things that that I'm carrying, and I'd like to know what you implement in your EDC. And it's so important, ladies and gentlemen. These people who walk around every day and tell you how bad it is financially, they're not telling you how bad it is socially, the crime that is taking place in now some of the nicest areas in the country, such as Irvine, California. So you can choose to be a victim or not be a victim, but the chances now of something happening to you or a family member is rising greatly every day. Because we've never seen so much lawlessness take place. There is no punishment, at least not here in California, for crime. And so you're going to be on your own. If you think you're going to pick up your cell phone, or you think somebody's intimidated by your attorney, that you'll sue somebody if they steal something from you or hurt you, these people don't care. They don't care. So you better make sure that you're not just your own central bank, but you're your own security task force, that you're your own security detail, because nobody is coming to help you. People around you, they're not going to help you. They just film it and put it on social media. So I know that this scares a lot of people, but you can live your life in fear, or you can just embrace things, train hard, and be ready. Pray to God nothing ever happens, but if it does, you're ready for it. Now, getting into a couple articles today. First one from The Hedge: Good Times, Weak Men, and the Secret Sauce of Wickedness. Hard times make strong men. Strong men bring good times. Good times make weak men. It says here, our country is in a toilet bowl. It is our job in 2024 to make sure it doesn't get flushed all the way down the pipe. We've got to be really, really prepared for things in 2024 that we've never, ever seen take place in this country. Things that decades ago, nobody even talked about. They would think you were crazy. And what would some of that be? Well, how about attacks on our power plants, attacks on our grid? How about cyber attacks? How about things just shutting down? How about banks shutting down, ATMs just shutting down? This is all very, very possible. The technology is now there, and to shut down a power plant it really takes no technology whatsoever. I mean, you can go buy a $500 drone now and fly it 4 miles away. So this is all a possibility now. This is all reality. Transport hubs, public places, bridges, interstates, highways, you name it. These things are all susceptible now. And we have really created a lot of enemies. There's a lot of people, many, many countries that don't like us. There's many people here right now that don't like us. It is a matter of time. And you've got to think now that if the lights go out, the grids go down, you don't have running water, your ATM doesn't work, you're afraid to leave the house. Guess who's not afraid? Bad people, criminals. This is going to be euphoria for a criminal element. When the lights go out, the police departments are overwhelmed. You're on your own, ladies and gentlemen. You are on your own. And I cannot be more imperative and direct with all of you about preparing for this. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope and pray it doesn't happen. But hope doesn't cash anybody's check. I really, really, truly believe that 2024 is going to be a year of reckoning. And, there's still people out there that say, oh, this is negative, this is scary, this can't happen, you're exaggerating. They shut down the entire U.S. economy and global economy for about 1.5 years, okay? Just everything got shut down. To think that this is impossible in the year of 2024 after what we've seen over the last 18 to 24 months, give me a break. You are in fantasy land if you think that this stuff isn't possible or it hasn't already begun to happen. Look at the amount of cyber attacks in, government agencies, military, banking, financial, schools, hospitals, you name it. Cyber attacks every day. Things are about to happen, ladies and gentlemen, and the people who hope it doesn't happen and hope that the boogeyman goes away, I feel really sorry for you. I feel more sorry for your kids because you chose to be weak. You chose not to protect your family, and your kids and your family are going to be the ones that suffer. And again, we can walk around all day and talk till we're blue in the face about what's happening financially, but the financial fallout is going to be more than just a financial fallout. It is a social collapse. We're going to see a criminal element unlike we've ever seen running on the streets of America, and you're already watching it take place. Imagine when there's no police, there's no lights, nobody's coming to help. This, again, is euphoria for this criminal element. Don't be a statistic, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I hope you can buy a house half off. I hope that you become a mogul during the worst of times. I really do. I want people to be successful. I want people to take advantage of opportunity in sales. But most people are going to be scared to leave their house. This can happen very, very quickly. You're not going anywhere if you can't take care of yourself. Here's another one from The Hedge today. When will the Fed pivot? John Harnett authored this article. He believes that we have only 8 months before another financial crisis and massive quantitative easing, when the Fed pivots and cranks up the printing presses again. He says it could be even sooner. Another war could make it much, much sooner. John believes, according to his numbers, the Fed will inject by August another $5.2 trillion. I spoke with Bill Holter earlier today on the phone, had a brief conversation with him and Aaron. He believes that the Fed will pivot next year, and when that happens, inflation's going to fly, gold prices are going to soar, and he says if gold goes to 3,000, it's not going to stop there. It's going to go to 5 after that. From 5, it goes to 10. And, as I've said many times in the past, and Bill reminded me of this, careful what you wish for. Because when gold hits 3,000, it's going to be a very, very scary place here in the U.S. Gold hits 5,000, you're not leaving the house without one of these and a serious pew-pew. And that's just reality, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to see how it all plays out, but I believe that Bill Holter and many others will be correct, because at some point the Fed is going to reverse course, because they're just not going to have any other choice. And when they do, this is when you really begin to see inflation in America. This is when gold soars, the dollar gets crushed, crime is going to be going just out of control. This is when the food lines get longer and longer. And this is when we're very, very susceptible to many different type of events here in America. Here's another one today. These are the health problems Americans are most worried about. So here, 6 in 10 said that they were either very or rather concerned about their financial situation if they were to get seriously ill. When we've been out on the streets feeding people and giving clothes to people and asking people their stories of how they landed up homeless, a large percentage of people said they're on the streets here in America because of a financial setback, because of a medical issue, medical bills, hospital bills that they got buried in and lost everything, lost their homes, lost their jobs because of the health setback, and then the hospital bills came in, and they'll take your house, they'll put a lien on your house, they're garnishing wages, and before you know it, they're homeless. So just the top 3 of the list that people were most worried about in regards to the health problems. 62% said financial situation because of the health problems. 56% said harmful substances in food, and 55% said life-threatening diseases. These are the health problems most people are worried about, the top 3. So I think that's pretty interesting, and it's another reason why we've got to take our physical health so seriously. So many people out there that are obese and severely overweight, and you're going to acquire more health issues being overweight and being obese. And here's another article that just ties into what I was just talking about. Critical drug shortages plague U.S. amid unabated reliance on China. So we're now seeing drug shortages in America. And this is another reminder to all of us the importance of being healthy, not being obese, being in good shape, trying to eat better, trying to exercise, trying to keep our weight down. Drug shortages have hit a 10-year high this year. This has left healthcare providers, pharmacies, and hospitals without enough life-saving and supportive medications. A survey in July found 99% of the 1,123 pharmacists who responded to the survey reported shortages. 90% of drugs dispersed in U.S. pharmacies, guess what? They come from China. Prepare for more shortages because there's going to be more conflict with China, ladies and gentlemen. And China can just say, okay, we're just cutting off your drug supply, America. And people will be dying very, very quickly. Get off as many of these medications that you can. I know that there's certain things that people, especially older people, people that have, certain conditions, I know that they're relying on this stuff. But if people took their health more seriously, if people took their weight more seriously, if people got in better shape and they exercised more and they really watched what they were putting in their bodies and what they were eating, there would be a lot less people dependent on these medications. And we are now a nation so dependent on China and the drugs coming from China. And think about cyber attacks, grids down, lights going off, water shutting down, stores shutting down. If you don't have the financial resources or capabilities to buy this stuff during these times, you're going to be in big trouble. Really, really big trouble. And one of the best things to do is just prevent, be proactive, prevent these kind of health issues right now. And if you eat better and work out and take your health seriously, you're going to save yourself from being on a lot of medications down the road. And even people who are on medications right now, if you got in better shape right now, there's a good chance that you could probably get off the medications. But so many people are going to be dependent on the medications, dependent on the system to protect them, dependent on the system to feed them, dependent to be housed, and again, dependent on China to give them medications. I make these videos to remind everybody to get as self-sufficient as possible. Get out of the system. Don't rely on the police. Don't rely on the politician. Don't rely on the hospital. We got to start getting self-sufficient immediately. We are days away, literally hours away from 2024. Things are about to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Here's one from Reuters. Russia, Iran officially ditch U.S. dollar for trade. They finalized an agreement just a couple days ago. Haven't heard much of this on the news. Banks and economic actors can now use infrastructures such as non-SWIFT interbank systems to deal in local currencies. We're watching it happen right before our very eyes. Every day now, something's happening where countries are ditching more and more dollars. Countries are now interacting more with these new financial systems. Their currencies, gold, oil, food, everything now being traded in different currencies. All these countries now stockpiling more gold. And the big players, Iran, India, China, Saudi Arabia, we're going to see more diversification. And we're going to see more countries dumping dollars and looking at other options like we're seeing right now. Saudi Arabia and China cutting big deals. Russia, India, China cutting big deals. It's all happening. So while people, watch cartoons and play video games and watch football games, they have no idea what is coming. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen next month or 6 months from now, but it is happening every day now, little by little by little by little. And by the time people realize what's happening and realize that, hey, my lifestyle is continuing to slip away, what's happening? It'll be too late. It will be too late. And there was a really interesting article on the Hedge today also. While all this is happening, first Costco, now Walmart. Major retailers now offer gold bars. Walmart. I was just looking at their website today. Has a very nice selection of gold and silver coins, gold and silver bars. You can even, it says here, you can even order a kilo bar for $70,000 through Walmart. Also, it appears to be no limitation like Costco. You can only buy two gold coins. With Walmart, there's no limitation. You can buy as many gold bars, silver bars, gold coins, whatever you want. Costco sold over $100 million in gold coins last quarter. This is really, really interesting that now, you've got Costco and Walmart in the precious metals game. If you need, personally, I wouldn't buy from Walmart. I wouldn't buy from Costco. Nothing against them. But I've been dealing with SD Bullion. I have a link down below. I think one of the most safest ways to buy, one of the most respected places to buy from SD Bullion, link down below. So if you need a gold coin or a gold bar or some silver, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. I've been dealing with them for over 5 years now. They're awake, and they've been in the game way before Costco, way before Walmart. They're awake. They know what's happening. And again, just like Tim Kell Knives, SD Bullion, I'm dealing with real Americans, people who know what's going on, people who are awake, and people who didn't just start doing this yesterday. Wolfstreet.com. Mortgage rates dropped a lot, but clearly not to the magic level. We're going to continue to watch this housing collapse, ladies and gentlemen. And Bill Holter, today, as I was speaking to him, reminded me that I have to get out of California. And, he made a good point. Many of you have made this point too, that if I'm not buying at the moment because of what's happening in the housing market, where existing home sellers are just stuck believing it's 2021 and they believe they're going to get these crazy FOMO 2021 prices, it may be another 6 or 10 or 12 or 14 months before we really begin to see things loosen up. I think it's going to be this year. But Bill made a good point. Maybe it's just time to just get out and rent. Get something and just get out of California, rent something in the South, and just get out of the state. So I'm going to be speaking to my real estate agent on Tuesday. I'm going to start looking at rentals just to get out of here and expedite this process, because I know it is getting really dangerous here in California. It's dangerous financially, it's dangerous socially. So I agree with everybody. It's time to get out of here. So I'm going to go to the next option and start looking at rentals. And that way I can wait it out. When these prices come down, I'll be much closer to where I want to be, and not a flight away or 2,000 miles away. Now, maybe I'll be 15, 20 minutes away from where I want to be, and it'll make the process of searching for my ranch much easier. So good point, Bill Holter. And many of you have said the same thing. I agree. So maybe it's time to look at rentals. It's time to get out of the state of California for sure. But according to this article, there are no bidding wars. There's no FOMO. People aren't tripping over one another now to buy a house, as mortgage rates dropped a whole bunch and new listings are suddenly showing up in larger numbers. Mortgage rates haven't dropped to the magic level, no doubt about it, and I don't think they're going to. I think in order to get the housing market moving again, you'd have to see rates back down to 3, maybe 4%. But as people lose their jobs, as inflation continues to crush, as people are robbing their savings to pay grocery bills and car bills, you're going to have less people qualified to buy a home. And I don't want to see mortgage rates come down so that people can overpay for a home. I want to see home prices come down. I think mortgage rates are fine where they're at. I think what we need to do is see these overpriced homes come down in price. We need to see home prices back to reality, because all of this, the stock market, homes, commercial real estate, everything is overpriced. Interesting here in this article, pending home sales. Okay, these are homes under contract, have not closed yet. They can fall through, but pending home sales for this November compared to November of 2021 are down 40%. This November compared to November of 2020, they're down 43%. This November compared to November of 2019, down 34%. This housing market is getting absolutely crushed. It is collapsing right before our very eyes. And there's people out there going, oh, there's no housing collapse. When you have pending home sales down 43% from 3 years ago and 40% from 2 years ago, you have a housing collapse. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers, anybody tied in the real estate industry is getting absolutely demolished right now. November mortgage apps are down 18% from 2022. They're down 48% from November of 2022. Mortgage apps are down 48% from November of 2022. That's what this says. I mean, I can't even believe that. That's outrageous. But if you're in the real estate industry, maybe you're 1 in a million and you're doing just fine. But for the majority of people in the industry, they're getting crushed. And they're going to continue to get crushed. This housing market is getting absolutely annihilated. Commercial real estate, annihilated. And I think if you buy a home in this market right now with these ridiculous prices, you need psychiatric help. I'm going to hold out. I'm not touching a house right now at these prices. Somebody's going to have to give. It's going to be the buyer or the seller. And it's always the seller that has to give in. Look, the new home builders, they've already discounted 18% from last year. They're doing mortgage buy downs. They're throwing in granite countertops. They're throwing in stainless steel appliances. They're throwing in whatever they have to move these homes. The existing home seller though, still thinks it's 2021. And they're in for a very rude awakening. And by the time they wake up, their home is going to be worth so much less than they thought it was. I'm going to finish with this last article, also from The Hedge. Millions of Ukrainians about to see salaries and pensions paused as Western aid dries up. The money isn't flowing like it once did to Eastern Europe. It says here 500,000 civil servants and 1.4 teachers will see their wages paused without critical aid. Also put on hold, they're going to see benefits for some 10 million pensioners. Can you believe this? We are sending billions of dollars over there to pay for teachers and civil servants and pensioners. I don't get political here, and I'm not going to get political because I don't care if you're right, left, or in the middle. I care about protecting people physically. I care about protecting people spiritually and financially. So I don't care where you're at, right, left, or in the middle. But we are purely talking economical. Do you think it's appropriate to be sending tens of billions of dollars to a country so that they can pay civil servants, teachers, and pensioners when we have people sleeping on the streets of America? When we have vets sleeping on the streets of America? When we have good American people standing in food lines? When we got people who can't even pay their electricity bill? When we got people paying the highest amount of taxes in the history of this country and getting absolutely nothing back for it? The Ukraine economy is about to go into survival mode. And let me remind all of you, right now, this country, this economy right here is in survival mode. And yet we're sending tens of billions of dollars to another country, and we're worried about their country going into survival mode. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in survival mode right now. We need all the help we can get right now. Where is this money coming from, and how is it ever going to be paid back? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I think it's repulsive that we're sending this kind of money anywhere before we're sending it to Americans that need help right now. Why are we not building new bridges? Why are we not building new infrastructure? Why are we not feeding the hungry? Why are we not getting help for people who are homeless and have mental disorders? Why are we not protecting the American people? Why are people not getting help? Why are we not creating new jobs? Why are we not giving incentives to small businesses? There's so much we could be doing with this money, but we're going to continue to print it and borrow it and send it all over the world while we're going to have to work 2, 3, and 4 jobs to pay it back, and while our dollar continues to get devalued and our purchasing power gets destroyed. And we turn into a third world country ourselves. Comment down below. It absolutely infuriates me what is taking place when so many people in this great country need help and they're not getting it. And we just look at our cities literally being overrun by crime. God bless America. Please pray for this country, ladies and gentlemen. This country is in big trouble. It is one flush away from going down the toilet bowl for good. And if we don't pray for it, if we don't get involved, we're going to lose the greatest country that was ever on planet Earth in the history of the universe.